Hey everyone, welcome back to Momentum Elevated. I'm Jenny, founder of Your Global Connection. And today I want to have a conversation that honestly feels very personal to me because today's episode isn't just about a book, it's about a mindset. It's about something I think stops more people from reaching their potential than almost anything else, waiting for permission. Today I want to talk about Forbes Riley. And one of the things I admire most about her story is that she didn't wait for someone else to validate her before she started moving. She didn't sit around waiting for someone to choose her. She created opportunities. She made the calls. She showed up. She put herself out there and she kept going even when there were no guarantees. And honestly, that lesson hit me hard because I think a lot of people spend years waiting for confidence, waiting for certainty, waiting for someone to tell them they're ready, waiting for the perfect timing, waiting for permission. But what if nobody is coming to give you permission? What if your next level starts when you decide you no longer need it? One of the stories Forbes Riley often shares is how she spent years in the entertainment industry creating opportunities for herself. And she wasn't sitting around waiting for the phone to ring. She was actively building relationships, meeting people, creating visibility, taking action. And I think that's such an important lesson because success often looks very different from what people imagine. People see results, but they don't see the years of persistence behind it. They don't see the rejection. They don't see the uncertainty. They don't see the moments when nobody was paying attention. And honestly, I can relate to that. When I think about the last few months building your global connection, there have been many moments where I could have waited until I had more money, waited until I had more experience, waited until everything felt perfect. But if I had done that, YGC won't exist today. Momentum Elevated wouldn't exist today. The partnerships wouldn't exist. The community wouldn't exist. And because here's what I learned: confidence rarely comes before action, confidence comes because of action. Because people think successful people are fearless, but that's really not true. Most successful people simply move before they feel ready. But and that's a different thing. I remember launching events and wondering, oh God, would people come? Would anyone even care? Am I doing the right thing? And honestly, sometimes I don't know. I didn't know. But I kept moving anyway. And I think that's what Forbes Riley's story reminds us of. You don't need certainty. You need courage. You don't need guarantees. You need movement. And one thing I often see is people waiting for someone else to open a door for them, waiting for the invitation, waiting to be included, waiting to be recognized. And while there's nothing wrong with opportunities coming your way, there's something powerful about creating your own, building your own table, creating your own room, starting your own event, launching your own ideas, and sharing your own voice. Because when you stop waiting for permission, everything changes. Another lesson I took from Forbes Riley is that visibility matters. You cannot be a hidden success. People need to know who you are, what you do, what you stand for, not from a place of ego, but from a place of service. Because if you have something valuable to offer the world, you have a responsibility to share it. And I think that's one reason I'm so excited about Momentum Elevated, because this podcast allows us to continue these conversations beyond one room, beyond one event, beyond one city. And maybe someone listening today needed this reminder. Maybe you've been waiting for confidence, waiting for approval, waiting for the perfect moment. Or maybe the perfect moment is actually now. Maybe the next opportunity is created by taking that one step, that one phone call, that one conversation, that one decision, and one act of courage. So, if there's one thing I want you to take away from today's episode, it's this: stop waiting for permission. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need permission to start. You don't need permission to believe in yourself. The people who create extraordinary lives are often the people who stopped waiting to be chosen and decided to choose themselves. And honestly, that may be the most important decisions you'll ever make. And thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Momentum Elevated. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs this reminder that they don't have to wait for permission to pursue their dreams, because your next level might be the moment you stop waiting and start moving. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of Momentum Elevated.